show you how great I am.
I'm gonna float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. I am the king of the world.
G5 Jeff TV, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Please share this video, support your boy. Support good content at all times. All social media is in the description box, and please hit that bell icon so you can be notified when I drop that heat. This video is sponsored by my boy Fast Classic. His mixtape is in the description box. It is absolutely free. Definitely give him a download, give him a listen. And this video is sponsored by my boy Matt. Definitely check his apparel out on IG at We All From. Gervonta Tank Davis is coming off of a second round stoppage over Ricardo Nunez in his hometown fight, and it looked like the buzz in the building was crazy. The build-up was pretty good for a fight that was just Gervonta Tank Davis getting his mandatory out of the way. And Gervonta Tank Davis is one of the bright young stars in boxing, and you know, he's on Floyd Mayweather Promotions. And Gervonta Tank Davis is one of the hot topics in the sport of boxing right now. There's no denying that. And people have high expectations for Gervonta Tank Davis because they see how much talent this kid has. And Floyd Mayweather and Mayweather Promotions have recently been coming out saying that they want to put Gervonta Tank Davis on pay-per-view. Initially, when I heard that, I thought Floyd Mayweather was joking, but he mentioned it a couple more times, and I'm like, yo, like he dead serious about this shit. He really wants to put Tank Davis on pay-per-view, and my response to that is pump the brakes. Pump the damn brakes on that, please. And that's no disrespect to Gervonta Tank Davis. That's not me throwing shade at Gervonta Tank Davis. I'm a fan of Gervonta, and I think he's going to be a superstar in this sport. But we're talking Gervonta Tank Davis and pay-per-view, his next fight. Gervonta Tank Davis did 550,000 views for a mandatory. That's okay. Like that's okay. Like it's nothing wrong with 550,000 for a guy that's fighting an opponent that nobody knows. So I just look at it as 550,000 views was 550,000 viewers to Gervonta Tank Davis. But Gervonta Tank Davis on regular TV versus Gervonta Tank Davis, and my cable bill is going to be higher the next month because I had to watch Gervonta Tank Davis. I don't know of a lot of people that's going to actually pay to see Gervonta Tank Davis. Now, again, this is no shade towards Gervonta Tank Davis. This is a situation where you have to gauge the market. You have to gauge the person that you're trying to put on pay-per-view and see if it makes sense. And then after that, you have to have an opponent to where the show is going to be entertaining. So, of course, they're mentioning Gervonta Tank Davis and Tevin Farmer as a pay-per-view. There's a backstory behind it. There's beef between the two. It's Baltimore, it's Philly. And Baltimore and Philly is similar in terms of just fabric. But there's a lot of tension between the two guys, and it's been that way for years. But is that the best situation for Gervonta Tank Davis to be in terms of a pay-per-view? No, it's not. Is that the best style matchup for Gervonta Tank Davis in his first pay-per-view? No, it's not. Whether you think Gervonta Tank Davis would wipe out Tevin Farmer, or you would think Gervonta Tank Davis would lose to Tevin Farmer, either way, Gervonta Tank Davis is not going to look good against Tevin Farmer just because of style. The style matchup is not a great style matchup for Gervonta Tank Davis. It's actually a great style matchup for Tevin Farmer, though. But I'm not going to get into that. Because people know I'm from Philly. Tevin Farmer's from Philly. I don't want people thinking that I'm just, riding out with the Philly guy. But if that fight was to ever happen, I would break that down in great detail. But we're talking about Gervonta Tank Davis, and is it the right time to put Gervonta Tank Davis on pay-per-view? And my personal opinion is just no. It's not a good time for it, because Gervonta Tank Davis hasn't even faced quality competition yet. Like, no disrespect to Ricardo Nunez, but Ricardo Nunez is a mandatory. He was a mandatory. He was not quality competition. The only person that Gervonta Tank Davis has fought in his career that had any type of value was Jose Pedraza. And those are facts. Those are facts. And Gervonta Tank Davis went into that fight being the favorite. Even though Gervonta Tank Davis personally didn't feel like the favorite, because Gervonta Tank Davis came out and said that he felt like Floyd Mayweather Jr. was setting him up by putting him in the ring with Jose Pedraza. And probably part of the reason why Gervonta Tank Davis felt that way is because he probably seen what Jose Pedraza did to Tevin Farmer a long time ago and put 1 and 2 together. I personally need to see Gervonta Tank Davis against somebody with a pulse. Somebody that's going to put up some resistance. Somebody that can fight. I don't want to see Gervonta Tank Davis on pay-per-view. I don't want to pay to see Gervonta Tank Davis fight a legitimate opponent for the first time in his career. I don't think anybody should have to come out of their pockets to see Gervonta Tank Davis fight some type of competition. Gervonta Tank Davis can fight a unification fight at 130. He can fight a unification fight at 130, and it don't have to be Tevin Farmer. He can fight Gary Russell Jr. coming up in weight. He can fight Abner Mares and revisit that fight. And Abner Mares will be coming up in weight. There's a lot of people at 126 that's ready to move up to 130. He can fight 3 or 4 fights of guys that's 126 coming up to 130 and build his name and then do a pay-per-view fight. And let me throw this out there too. For the people that think that Gervonta Tank Davis is pay-per-view ready, for the people that say that Gervonta Tank Davis belongs on pay-per-view and you would pay to see Gervonta Tank Davis, there's only one fight that Gervonta Tank Davis can fight on pay-per-view and people will buy it. And we all know that's Vasyl Lomachenko. Floyd Mayweather Jr. will go to his grave before he allows Tank Davis to fight Vasyl Lomachenko. And I'm not saying that because Gervonta Tank Davis doesn't have a shot against Vasyl Lomachenko. He would have a shot at beating Vasyl Lomachenko. Style-wise, he would have a shot. Vasyl Lomachenko would definitely be the favorite. Don't get it twisted. But Gervonta Davis is not going to get blown out in that fight. He's not going to get blown out or outclassed or anything like that. That's going to be a competitive fight. But that's the only fight that's worthy of a pay-per-view. And that fight, I don't know how many people would actually buy it. People watching it and people buying it is two different things. We in the tech era. That same person that screams out that they support Gervonta Tank Davis through and through, that same person that say that they support Vasyl Lomachenko through and through, they're the same people that'll find that free stream, that free pay-per-view stream, and go watch it and not pay a dime for the person that they quote-unquote support through and through. That's the situation that we're in when we talk about fighters and are they ready for pay-per-view. Terrence Crawford has done pay-per-view. Hasn't done good numbers. The guys that have been pay-per-view kings in the past, their first pay-per-view, the cap is probably between 250 and 350,000 pay-per-view buys. And that's when pay-per-view was controlling the market. Oscar De La Hoya had those types of numbers. Floyd Mayweather Jr. had those types of numbers. Manny Pacquiao had those types of numbers in their first pay-per-view. Errol Spence Jr. had those types of numbers in his pay-per-view with Mikey Garcia. Keith Thurman had bigger numbers than that, but he has an asterisk on it because he fought Manny Pacquiao. Who can Tank Davis actually fight on pay-per-view outside of Vasyl Lomachenko, and you would pay for it? Would you even pay for a Tank Davis-Vasyl Lomachenko fight on pay-per-view? Most people will probably answer no. So I think Floyd Mayweather Jr. needs to pump the brakes on the whole pay-per-view thing and get Gervonta Tank Davis 2 or 3 fights against known names. It don't matter if they 126, 130, or they 135 coming down to 130 to face Gervonta Tank Davis. He needs to build his name by going up against guys that has a name. Tank Davis is popular, but Floyd Mayweather Jr. needs to build his name up more, and he only can do that by putting him up against guys that actually has a pulse. So I'm looking forward to Gervonta Tank Davis' greatness, potential greatness, but it can only be brought out of him if he faces guys that forces it out of him. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. G5 Jeff TV, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Please share this video, support your boy. Support good content at all times. I appreciate y'all. Peace.